Hello there, I proudly welcome you to this Microsoft Access Database tutorial brought to you by DataText. My name is Akwesmaila. Right in this tutorial, I'm going to share with you how to create database management system to track the salaries and issue salaries of your employees in a business, and then also to issue payslips. So it means that in this tutorial, we are going to create a salary management system using Microsoft Access. So the application is going to be a mini one, and then it is also going to help you solve the problem of always writing salaries or amount that have been given to your employees monthly on in books. So here at the end of this video, you will have a database standing with you that you can actually use to automate these processes, and the good news is that you will be able to also issue pay slips right to them. If you have not subscribed to the channel, here is DataText. We teach Microsoft Office applications, Microsoft SQL, and then all other Office products. So if you've not subscribed to the channel, kindly hit the subscribe button and turn on the little bell notification icon so that each time that we upload a video or a tutorial, you receive notification from YouTube so that you don't miss any of them. Alright, so we are going to start from scratch. Let us get into it. So now the first step is for us to create a blank desktop database application in Microsoft Access, or to create a blank database. Now, how do we create a blank database? There are two ways of creating blank databases, as I would have covered it in some of my videos, but then we are going to stick to the desktop, or right on the desktop approach. Here you right click any area on the desktop, you go to new, then you select Microsoft Access. So here you click Microsoft Access, you give your application a name. So here the database, you're going to say salary database. Okay, so we are naming our application salary database. Now you double click to launch it. Alright, so here we are in the blank database that we created on the desktop. So you click enable content so that you'll be able to update your objects. Alright, so I am using Microsoft Office 2016. If you are using 2013 or any other version, be 2010 and above, you should be good to go with the processes or the steps that we are outlining in this particular tutorial. Okay, so now right in here, we are going to first create some table. So we first need to get the employees table, because it is employees that we are going to track their salaries, and we should get a primary data table in the database that will store all the information of our employees before we create a table to actually collect or store the salary information of the staff members. So here we go to create. In fact, we are not going to add a lot of fields because we want to make the video so brief. So we go to table design here. Alright, so right in table design, there has to be a primary key. So here I will say staff, so staff ID. Then here I'll use auto number. So let us make this one a primary key as such. Okay, so then outside the staff ID, I'm going to say staff national ID, and the staff national ID, I'm going to also make a short test. Now here you specify the ID type. So here in Ghana, we have Ghana card, we have voters ID, NHI. So if you enter the staff national ID, you have to specify, which of these ID that you've actually put the number there. So we make it a lookup, and then here, so you just stick to, there are two ways. Either you want the lookup field to get the values from another table, or a query, but because we don't have any query to get the values from, and the field is even going to, the options are going to be few, so we can easily populate it using the second option here. So we check it, then we go to next. Alright, so here we say, so let us specify some kind of cards here. So we say Ghana card, so voter ID, so driving or driver's license, your license, NHIS, etc. So the last one will be passport. Yes, because it is actually a requisite for each employee that you're working with to have a national ID. So we go to next. Now we limit to list. All right. Now there has to be some kind of validation for this ID field that we've actually created here. Okay, so now with the ID that we created here, it has to be a required field. So required field because if an employee fails to submit an ID number, his or her information cannot be entered in the system. So here we type yes, then we just click anyway. All right, so now we are going to track the names of the employees. So we say first name, so employee first name. Now let's say last name. So here we take the birth date. So this one will be, the data type will be date or time. Then we're also going to take their gender. So here we take their gender. Now gender, just as the ID type, is also going to be a lookup field. So go to lookup wizard. So is the employee a male or a female? You specify them. Alright, so now you come in here, there has to be telephone number. So telephone, and telephone here in Ghana, the length is 10, so we restrict it to 10. Okay, so now we finally take the email address. So email address, so this email address is going to be short test, that is okay. Then we say employee photo. Okay, so employee photo is going to be attachment because photo is a file that will be attached in the database. So now that we are done, we save the table. So right click here, we click save. Now the name is going to be employee TB. Alright, so this is our employee TB. Now if you happen to have your employee records already in Microsoft Excel, you'll be able to import it, but then we are yet to actually upload a video on how to import data from Excel worksheet into your access tables. So for now, let us actually type in manual over here the record. So now let's say staff national ID, I'll say 002030. So let's say this one is voter ID. So let's say Sandra Quasin, birth date is 20th 04. Now let's say 1996. Is a female, telephone number 020. Okay, so we add one more employee. So voter ID. Now let's say Smiler, Ako, date of birth 20th. This is a fictitious data we are doing. Okay, now let's say Ako Smile at outlook.com. Okay, so now we shall be working with these few employees for now. So the next step is for us to create a form that can be used to view and input records into the employee table. So once we have it open, we go to create. Now we go to form wizard. So we click here to add everything. We move to next. So we make sure columnar is selected. Okay, so now that columnar is selected, what we need to do is we go to open the form to view or enter information or modify the form design. So now let us open to view the information. Okay, so here we have the employee table form here, which is looking way untidy. So let us tidy it up before we move on. So we go to design view. We are not going to do much with the form design because I already have a video that teaches how to create form in Microsoft Access. So now let us keep all of them in the same sizes. So right click size, we keep it to shortest, and now let us check the length as well. So we select widest. Okay, so I'll restrict it, I'll limit the length over here. Now I will click here. We are putting everything together. Okay, so now here we have the photo. So in fact, we just have to limit or just shrink it a bit, put it here. Okay, so the label has to be on top, so we can say upload photo. So upload photo. Now we click, we drag here. Okay, so here we say employee profile. So employee profile. Okay, so we can click here and drag. Okay, so now we can view the form so far to see what is. So we are going to get rid of this particular button, upload the default image over here, then move on. Okay, so first let me align everything here. You select, you go to format, you click the left align. Now you save it. So here also center align. Now the color, I'll make it black. So I click here, I select the black color. Okay, so now over here I'll choose this color. Now I'll get rid of the record selector. So the record selector is the bar that we have over here, so I will get rid of it here. Okay, so go to design view, you click this dark spots. Now record selector, select no. Navigation, you need to actually keep it so that you'll be able to search some records. So this is a navigation bar that we have here. You can use it to search. So let's say Smiler, you can actually type in here and it searches for you. Now this thing, the upload photo, there's supposed to be a default icon that will actually prompt our users that, hey, this is just a photo field. Double click to accept the photo, so, or it's a profile icon. So we go to design view, we click in here. Now we set some image. Okay, so here I'll go to pictures. I'll browse all the way down here. Okay, so now I will just click to select this, and now it is selected, it is inserted already. So picture size mode, you come to property sheet, picture size mode, you keep it to stretch. Okay, so now let us view to see how good this is looking. So now whoever that sees this will know that it's a profile icon. So once you double click, you can now move on to insert a photo against the employee. Okay, so you can keep this particular form pop up, but then I wouldn't actually do it now. The final step for us to add some couple of buttons. So now go to design, we are going to add quick buttons here. So the first button I'll add, which is a add new button. So record navigation, you come to record operations, add new, next. So now you say new, then you hit finish. So this is a new button. The next one is going to be the refresh button. So go to form, refresh form data. Now I select test. So here instead of refresh, I'll say save. I'll click finish. Okay, so the last button is going to be the delete button. So here I'll click here, and record operations, I'll select delete record. So I'll click and I'll say delete. Okay, so once you click this button, you should be able to delete your staff member. Okay, so if you want to change the design of your buttons, you select everything, click format at the top here. Now we have some shape shapes that you can actually use, some shapes that you can use, and we have some quick styles. So these quick styles will actually change depending on the theme that you've actually installed. So you can, if you change your theme, you will have what each theme comes with its own shape styles. Okay, so now if you want to change your theme, you just come to the contextual menu, click design. Now you see we have themes here. so you can just choose to select any of them. You can browse for more themes online. Okay, so now that we are through with the employee form, we'll actually test it out. So we'll click new. Now staff ID, let's say 99761. So tab key to move on. Now what is ID type? Let's say it is driving licenses. First name is Kukubuache Cement. Birth date is 12th of July 2000. So what is the gender? Gender is male. Telephone number 020. Okay. Email address kwiku12@gmail.com. Okay, so kwiku12@gmail.com. Now we save it. So this information is saved. So once you come into your employee table and you refresh the database, as soon as you refresh, you can see that the information has jumped in over here. So now you can see that entering or updating your database with a form is very much easier as compared to the former doing it directly in the tables. Okay, so if you are going to deploy an application to users that are not familiar with Microsoft Access, it is very prudent that you create attractive forms that they will be able to use in interacting with your system. So now we are done with one phase. Congratulations. For now, we are moving on to the second phase. So I will close everything that I've opened here. I'll right click, then click close all. So let us save what changes that have been saved now. Now the next step is for us to create the salary table. So go to create. So now here go to table design. So let's say transaction ID. So transaction ID. Now this one is auto number. So you just click in here, select auto number. This one will auto populate the records for us. In fact, this auto number, the format, I'll make it 000 so that it will be 3-digit numbering instead of 1-digit numbering. Okay. So now the next step is for there's going to be a relationship, so we need to be able to build some kind of relationships. So now we are going to build relationship using, now you can either build using the staff ID or you can build using the staff national ID. So now we are going to use the staff ID instead. So I will click here, I will say staff ID. So staff ID. So you can actually space it out or you can close it, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so now this one, because of the relationship, now this is a primary key, and in here we are using the staff ID as a foreign key, so it has to bear the same data type as the one that we have in the employee table. So it means that it also has to be what? Number, because over there it was what? Auto number, so it has to be number here. Okay, so now that we have the staff ID, now you can actually specify. So let's say on every payslip there are two sections. We have the credits and we have the debit. So there has to be the credit fields and there has to be the debit fields as such. Okay, so now let's say the date. So you can say payment date. So payment date. So this one will be date. Click, select date or time. Okay, so you click and select date or time. All right, so now payment date, then select the date. Okay, so now we have to be able to also track the months and the year in which you are actually making the payment. The month and the year in which you're actually making payments. Now this one has to be done manually because sometimes salary for a month like June might not be, you may not be able to pay, but then you'll pay it in July. So it means that tracking it automatically for the payment date is not going to be what helpful. So here we are going to say salary months and year. So salary month and year. And this one is going to be a lookup, so you go to lookup field. Okay, so here you will type in the values that you want. So you type in the values that I want. Okay, so here I'll say January 22, February 22, March 22, April 22, May 22, June 22. So you just do it in that order, then go to next, you limit to list, you click finish. Okay, so now if you are paying your employee, you will be able to actually specify the month in which you are making this particular payment. Okay, so now let us track the actual salaries themselves. So now basic salary. So what is the basic salary? Now this one has to be currency. So currency, default value, then the validation rule. So here you can actually set the validation to be greater than or equal to 0, because amount cannot be negative. So if someone breaches this validation, you say, let us type some error message. So invalid amount entered, please enter again. So invalid amount entered, please enter again. So now you have the basic salary here. Okay, so let's say the addition, we also have health allowance. So that one too is currency. You do the same validation, and then let's say transport allowance. So that one too, do the same thing. If there is a bonus, you can just track the bonus, currency. Okay, so now let us save this table. So let's say salaries. Okay, so we can view it here. All right, so now we have the payments month here, basic salary, transport allowance. So it means that we are done with the deductions. We are done with the credits. Now it's left for us to do the deduction part as well. So go to design view again. Now here you're going to say advance payments. So advance payments is an instance whereby the month hasn't really ended, but then employee comes to take some money from administration. So that amount has to be deducted. That is advance. So we have advance, which is currency. Okay, so now let's say that we also have tax rates. So we have some tax rates. Okay, we have some tax rates. Now this tax rates, I want to calculate it based on the basic salary. So I'll go to I'll make it calculated. All right, so here I'll say if. So if your basic salary is less than 1,000 Ghana cedis, 1,000 is too huge. Let's say if it is less than 600 Ghana cedis, then the tax rate must be 0. Okay, else if your basic salary is greater than or equal to, so if it is greater than or equal to 601, but and basic salary is less than or equal to 1,000 Ghana. So if it is less than 1,000 Ghana, if it is within 601 and 1,000 Ghana cedis, then let's say I'm just going to take 2.5. I'm just going to take a tax of 2.5. So else for the rest of them, if it actually falls out 1,000, then you have to pay 3.1. Okay, so now that we are done, I'll close it and I'll close it here. So now we are done. Okay, so you can see the calculated expression over here. If the salary is less than 600, then tax we are not going to take because it's small. If it is greater than or equal to 601 and it falls within 601 and 1,000, then we are taking 2.5, errors 3.1. Okay, so now we are good to go. Now the next step is for us to calculate the gross salary. So the next step is for us to calculate the gross salary. And now the gross salary has to be the addition of all your credits. So we are going to say gross salary is also calculated. So you can type CAL. Now you can see calculated is actually highlighted, so you click enter and then opens expression builder. Okay, so now gross salary is going to be equal to basic salary plus health allowance, then plus transport allowance, so plus bonus. Okay, we are done. We hit OK. Now there has to be net salary. So net salary is gross salary minus your tax, so this is or your deduction. So gross salary minus tax and then the advance. So this one is also going to be calculated. You hit enter. Now here you say gross, so equal to gross salary minus advance. So minus, let us bring a bracket here. So minus advance, then now we are going to do the tax calculation. So this one, it was just an integer, so we want to calculate the tax. So we say plus your tax rate plus your tax rate. So this one has to be in bracket tax rate divided by 100. Then now you multiply by your basic salary, then you close the whole bracket. So your gross salary is net salary is gross salary minus advance plus your tax deduction, which is calculated as percentage of the basic salary. Now you OK, so it hits OK. Alright, so having come to an end, now we can actually proceed to type some records inside. So we right click, then we go to data sheet view. So we are being prompted to save the table first. We click yes here. Okay, so now let's say staff ID. Before then we have to build a relationship, so I'll close everything here. Database tools, relationships. Now I'll add all these tables. Okay, so now you click the staff ID, you drag it to the staff ID in employee table, you release your hand. Now let us set some sort of integrities here. So enforce referential integrity, yes. Cascade update related field. Now cascade delete related fields. If you check this particular option, it means that each time that you remove an employee, all the salaries will be removed, and that is what I want to actually check, so as to what prevents me from having redundant or unwanted data in my system. So I'll go to create. Now the relationship is neatly created for you. You can click here to print a relationship report. Okay, so let's save it. So now we have the salaries over here. Now I want to pay for employee number 1. So employee number 1, what is the payment date? So today, salary, let's say June 2022. So let's say it's 1,200. So you can see 1,200, the tax rate is 3.1 because it's greater than 1,000. So let's say if you type 1,000, it's 2.5. So if you type 500 or 400, it's 0. Okay, so it means that our tax calculation is working perfectly for us. Health allowance, let's say 300, transport allowance 10, bonus is 0. So now advance, let's say this person took an advance of, so you can see the net salary is 1472. Let's say advance was 72. So you can see now it's 1400. Okay, so the same employee 1, but then let's say on a different date. So April, basic salary, let's say 900, health allowance was 300, so transport allowance none, bonus was 900. Okay, so now net salary is 2007. So I'll refresh it now here. Okay, so the next step is for us to create the salary form, and that is going to be the same form as the employee table form. So go to create form wizard, we bring everything here, go to next, Now here, the form that we are actually going to build is going to be a columnar form. So go to column now. So modify the form's design, enter information straight away. Okay, so let us get right there and do some kind of changes or modifications. So design view. Okay, so now we are going to make all of them to be of equal sizes. So right click, go to size, select widest. Now we pull it across here. Okay, so the next step is for me to actually make the colors the same. So I'll click here, formats, I'll choose the same color. Now I'll choose to bold this, and then also the color here I'll stick to blue, and then these ones I'll actually make them transparent. Okay, so let me change the color. Okay, so this is okay, and this is also okay. Okay, so now having done this, the next step is for me to get rid of the record selector there. So get rid of it. Now let us view the form. Okay, so this is how the form is actually looking like, which is okay for us. Now the next step is for us to add some couple of buttons, then a rectangle around to improve the design. So go to design view. So click here. Now buttons here. So the first button is going to be new. So that is record operations. We go to new. Now this one is going to be new payments. So there's a new. The next one is going to be the save. So I'm going to stick to refresh so that it will synchronize the database. Okay, so here select test, then save. So we finish here. Okay, so delete. Each time that we wish to delete salaries, we should be able to do without any form of jitter. So record operations, delete record. Now we say delete, or we can say clear. Okay, so we are through with it. All right. And now we add a rectangle here. So we click and drag over this to add a rectangle. Okay, so now let us view the form once more. So it is looking very amazing here. So design view, we've got to stretch it across. Okay, so you can now change the design for the buttons. So let us actually stick to this. Okay, so here we save it over here. All right, so the color for this, let me change it as well. Okay, so now that we are we've done this, the next step is for us to create a data sheet and have it inserted over here, because if we select a particular staff member, we should be able to see all the salaries that have been paid to that particular staff member so far. So we are going to create a very little data sheet. So let's close everything here. Let us choose to save it. Okay, now you open salaries. So here you go to create form again. So this time I need only transaction ID, staff ID, payment date, payment year, then the net salary is what I need. So I'll go to next, data sheet, next. Now here I'll say salary sheet. Okay, so salary sheet. Now, so the design of the form is going to be data sheet, next, finish. Okay, so you can double click here to shrink the sizes. Now we have alternate colors. You can click here and select no color. Then you can also select everything, Control A. Now we have a lot of fonts that you can actually choose from. So you can choose these fonts, you can choose this, So you can choose any of the fonts that really suits your design. So for instance, I want to stick to this. Then I want to also calculate some totals. So I'll click data sheets here. Sorry, data. I'll go to home, totals. Now net salary, I will choose sum. Okay, so I will choose sum. All right. So now that we've actually done this, the next step is for us to, this shouldn't be able to allow us to insert a new record. So new, we shouldn't be able to add records on the data sheet. So go to data. Now allow addition, set it to no, allow deletions, allow edits, no. Okay, so having done this, we return back again to our data sheet view. Now let us select everything and stick back to our Times New Roman, and then also we can choose to use 14 instead. So sum. So right now the sum is not sure. We shouldn't be worried too much. Going forward, it will actually come by itself. It's because of my system. It's actually run on a low speed. Okay, so now having done this, we are going to insert a salary sheet on the salaries form. So we save. Now you open salaries, design view. So here salary sheets, let us actually create some space. Okay, so salary sheets will be inserted here. Okay, so I remove the label that comes with it and I will drag it towards here. So you just need to keep the designs as small as possible because we'll be setting anchoring properties for it. So now here, this time around, let us open the form view. So you can see that although we have a lot of spaces here, but then it is very small here. So you should be able to cause it to expand with, whatever that you actually was doing. Okay. So now you go to design view, formats, horizontal anchor, you select both. Now vertical anchor, you also select both as well. So we go to form. Alright, so now you can see that once the form is expanded, it actually opens to fill the entire area, which is something that we really was like, and you can see this is also working out over here. Now there has to be a relationship built already. You can see that it's built, but then let us see whether the right fields were used. So we go to design view again. Now you select the subform here, data. So they have built the Microsoft Access by default has built the relationship using transaction ID. So we are going to change it to staff IDs. So we are going to change it to staff IDs and then the staff IDs. Okay. So now I'll right click here, special effects, I'll select Sync. Okay. So over here to special effects of the rectangle, I'll select Sync. Okay, so now we are good to go. So let's say, because we've entered 2 salaries for this staff member, you can see it has populated itself right over here. So now let's say that we want to enter salary for a different employee number 3. So just come in here, go to new, so staff ID 3, payment date, I'll click and select today, tab key, next. So let's say this one is June, basic salary 1,000. Okay, health allowance, let's say 20, transport 0, 10 cedis, $10, sorry. Now advance, there was no advance, so we just save. And as soon as we save, you can see that has rightly jumped in over here. So let us add one more salary for the same staff member. We go to new, staff member, ID 3, payment date. We click here, select today. So now June, sorry, let's select a different month. So now let's say we want to add July. So how do we go about it? You just have to come in here, type July 2022. You hit the tab key. So here Microsoft Access is prompting you to there's a question, do you want to add this to an item there? Let's yes. You click yes. Now it is added here. You select next, so click basic salary, let's say it's 3,000. Okay, so health allowance, let's say it was 12, 11, advance, so let's say you took an advance of 1,000. Okay, so now the net salary is 1,000. 1,930. So we save and it jumps right in over here. And you can see that the net salary is actually populating for this staff member. Alright, so now the next step over here, you can see there are some commas here. So the net salary, we are going to format it to currency so that the commas will also appear. You go to design view. Now net salary, formats. So here you select currency. And once you come back here, you'll see that currency is now what's showing over here for you. Okay, so now having done this, we are actually getting to the end of we'll be coming to the end of this particular tutorial very soon. But then now there should be a way that we can select our staff members and then see their salary details automatically. So how do you actually do that? So now you click here, you close everything. Let's save first. So go to employee table. We are going to duplicate this particular form. So right click, copy, control V to paste. So you say employee. So let me say employee salary. So now employee salary is pasted. I don't know why it is not coming. So let us do it once more again. Copy, paste. So employee salary 2. Okay, so now we have it over here. You just need to forgive me for this because I told you earlier when I was running on a low in this space. So employee salary 2. All right. So now this is what I want to use. So it means that we will not need this one. So let me clear this. All right. So we've cleared it. To go. Now we go to design view. Okay. So over here we will need few information of the staff member. So even the infos that we have here, you're not going to need it. So we just delete it. Now we will need the staff ID and then this basic information here. So here I'll put everything together. Okay, so email address and the other ones I will not need them, but then if you will need it, you just have to bring it out there. Okay, so now I'll remove all the buttons here, but then the picture we will need it, so we'll put it over here, and we have to keep it as small as possible. Okay, so we shrink it, we set it up here neatly. Okay, so now we click, we put everything down here, then let us insert a label. So a label here that reads employee information. Okay, so employee information. Now the color, let's stick to black, but then we bold and use a central alignment. So 14 is okay. Okay, so now let us select this color, which is good for us now. Okay, so now having done this, we are going to add the salary form also right in here. So we click and we drag it across here, remove it. So now you can see we have inserted the whole thing as a subform in this main sheet. Okay, so here we stretch it a bit, then we can drag this profile icon here. So now you select everything, then you make sure that you set the horizontal anchors to both, vertical anchors to both. So having done this, let us view the form to see how good it is looking. So we view, and now you can see how it is actually looking. So we need to now get rid of the navigation bar for the subform here. So go to design view, you click in here, navigation, we don't need it for now. Okay, so let me save, close and reopen again. So employee salary 2. So now you can see that as soon as you search for your staff member, you can search, let's say Akosma. So you can see Akosmila, I don't have any detail. So Sandra, once you search for a staff member, all the salary information will actually pop up for you to see. So you can go to next here, down here, then Kweku Smith's salary information. Okay, so now this is looking like an ideal system that we really want to achieve. So now the icon here needs to move to the right once we expand the form. So design view, it is already at the right, so you just have to set horizontal anchors to right. Okay, so now the next step is that we are going to make this form a pop-up. So we click here, add, we select pop-up, and then the caption of the form, we are going to say salary management. Okay, so now you can see that the name of the form is now, caption is salary management, and once you expand, it actually opens to for the entire area. So we just have to get rid of the bar that we have at the down here. Design view once again. So we don't need this bar, we get rid of it. Okay, so now once you view, you have your form, you can expand, and now it is actually looking very good. So if you want to pay a staff member, you just have to come in here, type Kweku. So let me close and open again. So let's say I want to pay someone, I'll just come in here, Kweku. So Kweku Smith, Kweku Ako. Okay, so we have this staff member here. If it is Ako Smiler, Sandra Ako. So if you want to pay Sandra, now you can see the staff ID has automatically come in here. So the payment date, you just select your payment date, salary months, let's say it's 1,200. So you are done, you save, and now it jumps right in here. The final phase of the tutorial is for us to issue pay slips. After every payment, there has to be pay slips issuing. Okay, so now I will add a small button here. So let's go to design view. In fact, I will do it on the salaries form. Okay, so there have to be a payslip button here. So go to design view. Now pull everything here. So I'll copy and paste the clear button, but then this time around I'm going to name it payslip print slip. Okay, so it's a print slip button, and so print slip, but then you can see the code over there is clear. So let's go to design view. So if you want to see the code beneath, you just go to event of it, on click, you click the builder icon. Now Control A to select everything, delete key. So now you can see that we have cleared the macros beneath that particular button. So you go to design form view again. Now once you click, it performs no action. So let us design our simple payslip to be attached this. Okay, so now on the payslip we will need the name of the employee. So now go to salaries, we will need the name of the employees. We're going to use the query to do that. So now you go to create query design. So you add all the two tables, salaries. So it means this employee table, we don't need it. Okay, so now you can see there's a relationship. So I'll add all the salary fields. So I'll click here to add everything. Now I need the names. So first name, last name, we are going to put it together. So here I'll create a field here. I'll go to build. Now the name is going to be employee name. So employee name, that's the name of the field. And now the expression is going to be, we're going to just use the concatenation. So employee table dot first name, and so quotation, you bring a space inside, you close it, then ampersand again. So then employee table dot last name. Okay, so you are done. Now you run the query, and now you can see that we have your employee names over here neatly. So let us save this particular query. Right click, go to save. Now you say employee salary extended. Good. So employee salary extended. Now the next step is for us to build a payslip. So we're going to create. Now here in create, you go to report wizard. So we will need the transaction ID, staff ID. We will also need the employee name. Now we need a payment date, salary month, basic, health, transport. In fact, everything here we need it. Okay, so you go to next. Now how do you want to view your data? Just as we have it over here, go to next. We don't want to add any groupings, we go to next, but we want to sort it by transaction ID. Then go to next. Okay, so here we are going to choose the layout, the columnar layout, because the payslip let us choose the columnar layout, and the portrait is okay for us. We go to next. Now let us preview the report. Finish. Okay, so this is how the payslip is actually looking like. So let us go to the design view of it to do some petty modifications. So go to design view. Now we select everything. Size we say widest. Okay, so now on the payslip we are going to select. We are going to categorize it. So now here we are going to say the employee name and the staff ID, so they will be at the top, and then the payment details will actually be at the bottom. So employee name. Okay, so now transaction details will come now, followed by your credits, and then followed by your deductions. So when we finish the gross salary and the net, everything, we'll put everything here. Okay, but then we are going to limit the size. So that's the design of our payslip. So we are going to limit it. Now we stretch it across here. Okay, so this will be our basic salaries. Sorry, gross salary and net salary. Now we are going to add labels to do the categorization. So here we'll say credits. So center align, black. Now we bold it. So Control C to copy. Now you bring it right here. Select. You say debits. Okay. Now here will be transaction details, so we paste again. So is it transaction or payment details? Transaction details. Okay. Alright. So having done this, now we select everything here. So I'm run on a low disk. Okay, so now let us preview the report so far. Okay, so now this is how it is actually looking. We are going to get rid of the rectangle here. So go to design view. Now, so you select everything. So once we select everything, shape outline, we set it to transparent. We save it. Alright, the next step is for us to change the color here to white. And now we move on to insert the logo here as well. Okay, so now we are going to insert the company image here. So go to design, insert image, browse. Now I have some very nice logo on my desktop here, so I'll click and add. So here, okay, that is Spectrum Real Estate Solutions. Alright, so now in fact this is someone's logo before we actually have some copyright issues. Let me insert a new logo. So let me browse down here. Okay, so now let's say this, so let us actually assume this to be our logo. So click here and we drag it rather here. Okay, good. So now, having done this, we can add the company details. So let's say Across Technologies Consults. So okay, so now here, let's say location is Ghana, Accra. So PO Box 90. Now let's say that we are just adding telephone +233. Okay, so now we add the email. So email, let's say aposmila@gmail.com. Okay, so now this will be the company information. Now the next one, we copy and we paste. Let's say Payslip. Next, we drag it here. Okay, so here is black shape. We can keep size 18 bold. Now here we can actually select black color. Okay, so now we are actually good. The outline for this, we set it to transparent, and then I'll enlarge it a bit here. Okay, so now preview our report. So this is how the payslip is actually looking. So ideally it is actually impressive. You can improve the design at your own pace. So now I will just set the colors for this one to black. So I will select everything here, then okay, so now the color here, I'll select black. Alright, so I will minimize this. Now alternate colors here, we set it to none, and then auto center yes, and the pop-up we set it to yes. Okay, so now we have our payslip neatly created here. So this is our payslip here. Now we have to do some sort of alignments because the whole things are looking so clustered. So now we select the fields, and in fact we keep the alignment to left, and the outline let us set it to black so that they will actually show. Okay, so now this is what we've been able to achieve so far. Okay, now the next step is for us to add a button. So we add a button here. So this is going to be the print button, and then also there should be a line to separate payslips. So sorry, we need a rectangle instead. So click and drag to create a rectangle. So now as soon as you preview, you can see that there is a line separating each employee's payslip. Okay, the final step is for us to add the code on the salaries form, so that as soon as you click, it's going to open the payslip. So we save it. Now here, salaries design view, we have payslip here. So if you click payslip, now it should open a report. Which report? So the report is salaries. That is a payslip. Transaction ID is equal to and transaction ID. So you keep this within quotation. I click end. So the report name, salary. Now we close it. So we test it out finally. As soon as you click here, now you can see that's opening the payslip for you. So let me go to employee salary 2. I will choose to expand. Now once you click here, it opens salary for you. So over here 1162. Once you click here, now you can see that the payslip has neatly been generated for you. So the next step is for you to add a macro here that will do the printing for you. So you go to design view. So right in here, build events, macro builder. Now you say, so first we're going to print preview. The next action will be to print the objects. Okay, so this is very basic. I'll close it. Salary, we expand, payslip. Now once you click here, you can see that you have the preview here. So you have the preview, and I can click Ctrl P to print it as well. So payslip, it prints. Okay, so guys, this will be the end of this particular tutorial. If you really have a question, just kindly drop it in the comment section and I'll attend to it in some hours. Now we shall progressively be developing upon this particular application, so you stay tuned to updates from this channel. Thank you for watching. See you in another tutorial. Bye.